Today, you'll meet 10 celebrities who filed for bankruptcy. Here, you'll see how these famous individuals once had fortunes that the rest of us can only dream of. But their obsession with luxury and shopping led them to spend more money than they had, leaving them penniless. Let's watch it. It's fascinating. Johnny Depp. Throughout his successful career, Johnny Depp became one of Hollywood's highest-paid actors, seemingly living a dream life after earning $650 million between 1999 and 2016. But behind the facade of luxury and fame, he was on the brink of financial collapse. In 2017, Depp found himself with $40 million in debt. If you're wondering how he got to that point, his expensive lifestyle was one of the main culprits. It's estimated that he was spending $2 million a month, with $30,000 of that going just toward buying wine. He also owned 45 luxury cars, an extensive art collection, and a $14 million private jet. On top of that, he maintained 14 residences, including a farm in Kentucky, a private island in the Bahamas, 3 apartments in the exclusive Eastern Columbia building in Los Angeles, and even bought an entire village in France. However, the real chaos began when problems arose with his lawyers and managers, who Depp accused of poor financial management, including delayed tax payments and taking out loans without his knowledge. In response, his lawyers countersued, claiming that Depp's extravagant lifestyle was to blame. Adding to this were expensive legal battles with his ex-wife Amber Heard, who received a $7 million settlement after their divorce, but at least she had the fortune of being awarded $10 million in compensatory damages and $350,000 in punitive damages when the court ruled in her favor. After years of uncertainty, Johnny Depp can now say his financial problems are behind him, as he managed to reorganize his finances by selling off several properties, and his fortune now stands at $150 million. Michael Jackson. More than just a singer, the king of pop was a business worth $1 billion. But despite selling 750 million albums and being considered one of the greatest artists of all time, he passed away in 2009, drowning in debts that totaled $500 million. To understand how he ended up in that situation, we need to go back several decades. In 1985, he made one of the shrewdest deals of his career when he purchased the music publishing company ATV Music for $47.5 million. This catalog included the copyrights of songs written by John Lennon and Paul McCartney of the Beatles, providing him with steady income and allowing him to live a luxurious lifestyle. Thanks to this fortune, in 1988, he bought the famous Neverland Ranch for $17.5 million and spent several more million transforming it into a private amusement park, as though trying to recreate the childhood he never had. Throughout the 90s, he spent millions on art, luxury cars, and maintaining his expensive lifestyle, causing his fortune to start crumbling by the mid-90s. To ease his financial troubles, in 1995 he merged ATV Music with Sony Music's catalog in a $95 million deal. Later, in 2001, he used his share in the catalog as collateral for a $200 million loan from Bank of America, but the massive expenses continued to worsen his financial problems. By the end of his life, the Thriller performer was spending between $20 million and $30 million more than he earned each year. This meant the financial pressure led him to mortgage his properties, including Neverland Ranch, and he even used his valuable music catalog as collateral to relieve his debts. When he died in 2009, he had $500 million in debt, which was only cleared by selling his music catalog for $600 million. The saddest part is that after his death, his music and image continue to generate massive amounts of money that he will never get to enjoy. It's estimated that in the last 15 years, he earned $2 billion, making him the highest-earning deceased celebrity. Kanye West. In 2016, rapper Kanye West shocked everyone by announcing on Twitter that he had a debt of $53 million. Unlike other celebrities, his financial troubles didn't stem from extravagant spending, but from a series of failures in his attempts to dominate the fashion world and the music industry. It all started in 2009 when he decided to pause his music career to focus on his clothing brand, Pastel, which collapsed just 7 months after launching. Next came the creation of his GOOD product line aimed at his fans, but that too didn't achieve the expected success. In 2011, Kanye made another ambitious leap by attempting to launch a high-end women's clothing line, which never made it to stores and cost him an incredible $30 million. His financial troubles became so public that he asked Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg for $1 billion to continue his art. He even mentioned being willing to accept financial help from Larry Page, co-founder of Google. After several failed attempts to break into the competitive fashion industry, his luck changed with the launch of his Yeezy clothing and shoe line, which was an immediate success. The brand, which he fully owns, had a contract with Adidas, who manufactured and distributed the products. For a while, Kanye's design career seemed to take him to the top, and his net worth soared to $6.6 billion thanks to Yeezy's strong market position. However, the story took a turn when Kanye ruined his own career by getting involved in a series of controversies, leading Adidas to cancel the contract, and the Yeezy brand was discontinued. Without this steady income source, the rapper's fortune dropped to $400 million, which is still impressive for someone who was once bankrupt. Nicolas Cage, starring in blockbuster hits like Ghost Rider and Con Air, helped Nicolas Cage's fortune soar to an astonishing $150 million. With that amount of money, you'd expect him to have enough to live like royalty for generations. But in just a few years, the actor squandered nearly all of it on some of the most unusual acquisitions in history. Among his purchases were a 67-million-year-old Tarbosaurus skull for $300,000, a Bavarian castle worth $8 million, and a private island in the Bahamas for another $7 million. By the mid-2000s, he bought the mansion once owned by serial killer Madame Delphine LaLaurie in New Orleans for $3.45 million. And at one point, he owned up to 15 properties, including a $25 million beach house in California, a $15.7 million estate in Newport, Rhode Island, and an $8.5 million house in Las Vegas. Nicholas's collection also included 50 cars, 30 motorcycles, 4 yachts valued at $35 million, and a 9-foot pyramid tomb where he planned to be buried. Not to mention his $150,000 pet octopus and $150,000 spent on the first Superman comic. As expected, his fortune quickly crumbled, and in 2009, he took another hit when the IRS demanded he pay $6.2 million in overdue taxes. Although he sued his financial advisor for negligence and fraud, the advisor countersued, claiming Cage was solely responsible for his mismanagement. To face his debts and recover at least some of his lost fortune, Cage sold several properties and ramped up his workload in the film industry, but not without first learning a valuable lesson about being more careful with his spending. Gary Coleman. In 1978, at just 10 years old, Gary Coleman was cast as Arnold Jackson in the sitcom Different Strokes. With his charisma and his famous catchphrase, "What you talking about, Willis?" Gary became the highest-paid child actor on television, earning $100,000 per episode. At the peak of his fame, his fortune was said to be around $18 million. But behind the laughs and success, there was a personal tragedy. When the show was canceled in 1986, he discovered that his adoptive parents and financial advisor had squandered most of his money, leaving him with only $220,000. Devastated, he had to face a series of costly legal battles against them while dealing with serious health issues due to a congenital kidney condition. Drowning in $72,000 in debt, he filed for bankruptcy in 1999. Despite his attempt to revive his career in the entertainment industry, he never found the stability he needed and passed away in 2010 at the age of 42, never having enjoyed the fortune he worked so hard for as a child. Mike Tyson. In 1986, Mike Tyson became the youngest heavyweight champion in history at just 20 years old. His relentless fighting style earned him millions of fans and overwhelming success in the 1990s, bringing in a total of $375 million in the ring. However, his reputation was tarnished in 1997 when he bit a chunk out of Evander Holyfield's ear in a fight that would forever be etched in boxing history. At the same time, his financial collapse was as fierce as his legendary ring style. He squandered every penny on mansions he never lived in, cars he never drove, and even once bought every car in a dealership just to show off his money. On another occasion, he found tens of thousands of dollars forgotten in the pockets of a jacket he didn't even remember having. During this shopping spree, he spent tens of millions on over 100 cars from brands like Ferrari, Mercedes-Benz, and Rolls-Royce. He also bought 20 sports cars to give to his friends and needed hundreds of thousands of dollars to care for his pets, which included white tigers and pigeons. At the same time, Tyson was a fan of gold, so his mansions were decorated with the precious metal, even having a solid gold jacuzzi. This extravagant lifestyle led the former world champion to file for bankruptcy in 2003 with a $23 million debt, but astonishingly, it took him more than a decade to climb out of financial ruin. His fall was as rapid as his rise, and his story is a reminder of how fame and fortune can crumble if you don't have a clear vision of the future. Wesley Snipes. In the 90s and early 2000s, Wesley Snipes was one of Hollywood's most acclaimed action stars. With a mix of athletic skills, martial arts mastery, and electrifying charisma, he became a movie icon, especially known for the Blade trilogy and other box office hits that catapulted him to stardom. However, his career took a serious blow due to a legal issue that rocked his life. Snipes was convicted of failing to file tax returns between 1999 and 2001, totaling $7 million. Despite attempts to declare bankruptcy to avoid paying the debt, the court found him guilty of tax evasion, and he was sentenced to 3 years in the federal correctional institution McKean in Pennsylvania. After serving his time, he was transferred to house arrest in New York, where he finished his sentence before being released in April 2013. Despite his long absence from the big screen, he made an incredible comeback, as his fantastic performance in Dolomite Is My Name proved to everyone that he still had a lot to offer. He also worked alongside Eddie Murphy in the long-awaited sequel to Coming to America, and recently returned to the role of Blade in the hugely successful Deadpool and Wolverine. 50 Cent. The net worth of indie club artist 50 Cent reached an impressive $155 million in 2015, which, according to Forbes, earned him a spot on their annual list of the richest hip-hop artists. During that time, 50 Cent's name became synonymous with success, and he made investments in the energy drink and alcoholic beverage industries. However, what seemed like an unstoppable rise took a dramatic turn in 2016, when a series of legal battles destroyed his fortune in a matter of months. It all started in 2015, when he was found guilty of posting an explicit video without consent and was ordered to pay $5 million to the victim. But the problems didn't stop there. The previous year, Sleek Audio sued him for copying the design of their headphones, resulting in a $17 million fine. By mid-2016, the artist filed for bankruptcy, revealing a debt of $32.5 million against assets of just $16 million. Though it was speculated that it was all a stunt, especially after pictures emerged of him posing with large stacks of cash, the reality was that his debts were real. To resolve his financial issues, he agreed to pay $23 million over 5 years. Since then, his personal finances have recovered, and today he has a fortune of $40 million, thanks in large part to his live performances, which earn him $1 million per show. MC Hammer. The rapper, whose real name is Stanley Kirk Burrell, burst onto the hip-hop scene with unmatched force. His debut album, Please Hammer, Don't Hurt 'Em, was not only a massive success, but broke records as the first hip-hop album to sell more than 10 million copies. At the peak of his career in the early 90s, he earned at least $33 million a year, but what seemed like an endless mountain of money disappeared in the blink of an eye. Hammer began squandering his fortune in incredible ways. He maintained a staff of 200 employees, with annual salaries totaling an unbelievable $1 million. At the same time, he acquired a private jet, dozens of luxury cars, 2 helicopters, several racehorses, and built a 40,000-square-foot mansion that cost $30 million. The house was the epitome of luxury, with gold-plated doors, 2 swimming pools, Italian marble floors, a recording studio, a garage with space for 17 cars, a 33-seat movie theater, and even a baseball field. On top of this, he spent millions more on rare antiques to furnish his palace. Unfortunately, the glitter of success didn't last long. By the mid-90s, he was caught in multiple copyright lawsuits. His subsequent albums failed to connect with the public, and having wasted all his fortune, he filed for bankruptcy in 1996 with a debt of over $13 million. Desperate for cash, he had to sell his house for a fraction of its original cost and return to the modest life he had before fame. Over time, MC Hammer reinvented himself as a Christian minister and surprisingly managed to pay off his debts thanks to lucrative investments in several tech companies. Lil' Kim. Before the rise of stars like Nicki Minaj and Cardi B, Lil' Kim was the leading female figure in the world of hip-hop. Since her debut in the mid-90s, she sold over 27 million albums and amassed a considerable fortune, which in theory should have been enough for her to live comfortably for the rest of her life. The reality, however, was far different as she went through a financial nightmare that led her to file for bankruptcy. Over the years, her debts reached $4 million, including a staggering $1.8 million in back taxes. The situation became so dire that she had to offer her luxurious mansion in New Jersey, valued at $2.3 million, as collateral to stay afloat. Among the assets she presented to the court were a 2000 Mercedes-Benz worth just $4,200, a 2005 Bentley Continental GT valued at $52,600, and $25,000 in furniture, appliances, and jewelry. In an unexpected twist, Lil' Kim was able to reorganize her finances. With the help of her friend and fellow rapper Missy Elliott, who provided crucial financial support, she managed to stabilize her situation. This saga of rise, fall, and rebirth culminated when a federal judge approved her motion to end the bankruptcy case. And today, with her debts under control and her mansion safe, Lil' Kim has proven she is a survivor both in music and in life. Now tell me, do you know of other celebrities who lost all their fortune? Leave your opinion in the comments. Here are two options that you'll surely love.